Right, morning once again, and welcome to the introduction class of management and entrepreneurship. Now, can anybody confirm that the screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, so today we'll look into the evolution of entrepreneurship. So, mainly there are two sections here: entrepreneurship during pre-independence and post-independence. Right, so we'll have to look into both the evolutions, how the term and the practice of entrepreneurship have come into the play during the pre and post independence. Alright, so entrepreneurship during pre independence. In the excavation in Harappan and Mohenjo-daro, the handcraft items and the metal molded items were found. It is also found that the craftsmen of the time made handicraft items as part of their contribution to the society in which they lived. The entrepreneurship to make handicraft items existed in India around 2500 BC. People developed the social system and village economy in India. India also developed caste-based division of work which helped in the development of skills of artisans. Okay. So basically this is how the entrepreneurship concept have evolved during the pre-independence. So mainly it was concentrated on the handicraft and the other items that they used to develop or they used to manufacture as a contribution towards the society, right? And then entrepreneurship during the post-independence. In 1948, Indian government came forward with the first industrial policy, which was revised from time to time. The government identified the responsibility of the state to promote, assist, and develop industries in the national interest. So after the independence, that is post-independent, the government of India have come up with many initiatives in order to boost up the entrepreneurship in India. So as a part of it, okay, the government of India have taken many important steps. So the first one being to maintain a proper distribution of economic power between private and public sector. Okay, so basically to assist private and public sector with the financial aids. The next one is to encourage industrialization from existing centers to other cities, towns, and villages. So basically, in order to maintain um, uniform development across the regions in India, so they have not only concentrated on a particular region, but they have been concentrating on the whole of the region or different types of region have been taken up in order to develop or in order to boost the entrepreneurship. The next one being to disseminate the entrepreneurship acumen concentrated in a few dominant communities to a large number of industrially potential people of varied social state. Okay, so basically, you know, they did not want to build the concentrated regions or a particular region wherein you have more number of industry, and then there is the region where you have no industry at all. They want to maintain that balance between the rural India and the urban India. So they have taken up initiatives like small scale industries in which they have number of support institutions in order to promote those kind of industries wherein you know the the resources are local and the manufacturers are local. The products that they manufacture again will be sold locally. So this is how the government of India has taken initiative in order to promote the entrepreneurship concept. All right. The next one is stages in entrepreneurial process. Entrepreneurship Entrepreneurship is a process comprising of several distinct stages. The first stage in the entrepreneurial process is some change in the real world. For example, a war may destroy countries' manufacturing facilities but spare its trained workforce. That has happened in West Germany during Second World War. Such a change leads to changes in every aspect of life in the country. It creates needs for new goods and services. The destruction of Japan's industry during the Second World War allowed the country to rebuild its industry from scratch. Right. So basically, the first step in any entrepreneurial process is to identify that change. Okay, is to identify the change in the society and convert that change into an opportunity. Okay, so that is the first stage of entrepreneurship. The next one is the second stage in the entrepreneurial development is the idea. For example, microprocessor, the brain of personal computer, had been in the American market since the early 1970s. A company called Altair had put out a computer that was so personal that one had to put it together oneself. But it was Apple Computer which perceived the computer market was potentially very big. Right. So the second step is to it's to have an idea on how to go about in building with the opportunity that you have identified in the first stage. Okay. So some of the examples have been also quoted in this particular slide. All right. The next one is the role of entrepreneurship in economic development. All right. Now let us look into the role of entrepreneurship in economic development. The important role that an entrepreneurship plays in economic development of an economy or a country can be put into more systematic manner as follows. Let us look at the first point here. First point states that the entrepreneurship promotes capital formation by mobilizing idle saving of the public. Right. So basically, it is to say that it puts the savings of the public or the money that has been saved by the public into use. It's not a dead money. You make that money work for you. So that is called as capital formation. Okay, so whatever the savings that you have, or whatever the debt amount that you have, with that, if you can mobilize it, if you can put that work into a particular work, then the money is put into use. The circulation of economy is important for any country to develop, and that is done, you know, by the concept of entrepreneurship. The next one is it provides immediate large-scale employment. That thus it helps to reduce unemployment in the country. Now, if you set up your own industry, obviously you're employed, and with you can also provide employment to a larger scale of the unemployed youth of this country. So, by promoting entrepreneurship, so basically what you're doing is you're also reducing the unemployment in the country. Large chunks of unemployed youths will have jobs at the hand, and they will be financially independent, and which obviously indicates the development of the country as a whole. All right, the third one is it promotes balanced regional development. All right, so usually we have this complaint that some of the regions are highly developed and some of the regions are ignored. Okay, but that is because there is no person at those particular regions to take an initiative. But by promoting this entrepreneurship, what we can do is we can have a balanced regional growth. For example, comparatively, if we compare Bangalore with Bijapur, obviously Bijapur is you know less developed as compared to Bangalore, right? But if you can promote entrepreneurship in this particular region, even our region could be economically stronger. Okay, and that could be done with the concepts of entrepreneurship. Okay, taking an initiative is very important if you want to have a balanced regional growth. Right. So the next one is it helps reduce the concentration of economic power. Okay. For example, if there is a particular region which is overdeveloped and then there is some other region which is underdeveloped, obviously the overdeveloped region will have more economic power, will be economically independent than the other region which is underdeveloped. But if it could use, yeah, but if you could use the this concept of entrepreneurship, then you can achieve the balanced regional growth, as well as you can also reduce the concentration of economic power. Right? So the next one is it stimulates the equitable distribution of wealth, income, and even political power in the interest of the country. Okay. So by this, what happens is there is an equal distribution of wealth, there is equal distribution of income, even political power, right? So let me tell you how. If people of all the regions are equally developed, then their lifestyle, then the income the of those people will all be almost equal to the other regions as well. And this could be achieved only through entrepreneurship, only by taking an initiative. If we don't do that, people of one region will be rich and the people of the other region will be poor, just because you have not promoted that concept of entrepreneurship. The next one is it encourages effective resource mobilization of capital and skill, which might otherwise remain unutilized and idle. Okay, so basically, it is to say it is not just about using um, your savings or debt amount and putting that into use. It's also using the resources that are locally available. Okay, giving the producers of those raw materials an economic strength, as well as giving employment to the other people, right? And encouraging the skills, which is more important. Okay, we find that uh, youths, young people of this country have more skills, but the problem with us is that we are not able to utilize those skills, and that is because there is less number of people who are ready to take that initiative of being an entrepreneur. If you uh, promote entrepreneur or be an entrepreneur yourself, you're not just doing good for yourself but also to the society at large. You're using the skills of the youths, which would again, if not utilized, they would remain, they would be termed as useless, right? And the next one is it also induces backward and forward linkages, which stimulated the process of economic development in the country. Okay, by setting up of small-scale industries, by promoting entrepreneurship, okay, what we are doing is we are not just developing the urban areas of this country, but we are also taking the rural areas into consideration and then giving them the strength, okay, to grow economically. And this could be achieved again through entrepreneurship. Okay, both it's the backward as well as the forward linkages. It's not just the urban regions which are developing, but you can also have the rural regions developing equally to the urban regions. Right. So the next one, it promotes countries' export. That is important ingredient for economic development. Now, obviously, if you're producing more number of products and variety of products, then it would not only consumed locally or used locally, but you can also export it to the other countries of the world. And by doing so, what you're doing is you are promoting your you know export index. Your export index will be high. So if your export index is high, it also means that the country of yours is developing. All right. So these are the some of the points which will indicate how important entrepreneurship is in the economic development of any country. Now, let us look at you know, the other side of entrepreneurship. We have all, in a way, we have looked into the positive sides of the entrepreneurship, but if we have to talk about the negative side or the hindrances to be an entrepreneurship, to be an entrepreneur. Okay, so let us look into the the barriers of entrepreneur. Right. So the first barrier. So Carlos Vespa is an author, and he has identified the following barriers to entrepreneurship. The first one being the lack of viable concepts. So it is to say that um, if I want to be entrepreneurship, then if I don't know what to do, if I don't have a practical concept, viable in the sense, a pursuable concept, a concept which would be realized, uh, you know, is called as a viable concept. So the first barrier of being an entrepreneurship is not having an idea which could be, turned into reality. So that is nothing but the lack of viable concept. The next one is lack of market knowledge. Right. So I know what to develop. Okay, I know what to manufacture, But if I don't know how to market it, if I don't know what price should I sell that product to, what consumers to target, what would be the supply chain, if I don't have this knowledge, again, I'm bound to fail as an entrepreneur. The next one is lack of technical skills, right? Your idea is amazing, you have done your market research and everything, but you don't have the technical skill sets in order to carry out that idea into the reality. Again, you will be failed as an entrepreneur. The next one is lack of seed capital. So a seed capital is nothing but it's a capital um, that has to be invested in order to start an industry. It's the initial investment, as we can see. So some of the people are all good with the earlier 3 points. They have an idea, they have done the research, they also have the technical knowledge or technical skills. But sometimes what happens is they may not have a safe capital. They may not be able to, you know, manage the initial investment. So again, you couldn't start your own industry. So this is one of the hindrances or the barriers. The next one is lack of business know-how. Right, everything is there, but if you don't know how to do a business, how to promote your product, you don't know how to price your product, you don't know what are the supply chains that your product has to follow in order to reach the end customer. If you don't know how to sell it, are you going to sell it offline? Are you going to sell it online? Okay, if you're lacking the business skills, again, it's a failure. Next one is complacency or lack of motivation. So basically, you know, you have everything, but you're not motivated. You don't have that fire in your belly in order to start an industry. Again, that is a kind of barrier that one faces. The next one is social stigma. So this is the most ridiculous barrier that we could ever come across. We want to start something, but society, we fear what society may think of us. Okay, the society may not allow you to do that. Okay, they may say that you have uh, you're so well educated, but why you want to you know, start with this industry or that industry? So that becomes a social stigma, and it's a barrier for entrepreneurship. The next one is time, presence, and distraction. Okay, so sometimes what happens, you may not have the time in order to pursue this entrepreneurship due to various other reasons, and you may not be, your concentration may lose because you're distracted. At one point of time, you want to do this. At the other point of time, you are interested to do something else. So that is nothing but distractions. And this happens if you have options. Okay, you will be distracted. Which one to pursue? Which one to, go through? Right. So again, that's the barrier. The next one is legal constraints and regulations. Okay, so there are hundreds of regulations, hundreds of legal constraints that one needs to be thorough with. Okay, and sometimes they also act as a barrier. The next one is monopoly and protectionism. Okay, what happens is if there is a company who is manufacturing a product, okay, a particular product, let us say a product A, and there is the other company who wants to also produce the same product, then a company which is already well settled may not want a competition from a new company, so they monopolize. They somehow try to shed the new or the budding companies, right? So that's a monopoly, and again, it's a barrier. The next one is inhibitions due to patents. Okay. You want to produce a product, but that product is already patented, and without the permission of the owner of that patent, you may not be able to, you may not be able to produce that product and market it into the business world, right? So these are some of the barriers for entrepreneurship. Okay. So, right, I think we are done with today's class, and right. So, if there are any doubts from your end, you may shoot it right now. If you have any doubts, you may post your query in the chat box. You have 2 minutes to post your query. Right, seems like nobody has a doubt or query, but just to be double sure, can you please type in the chat box that you don't have a doubt if you don't have one? I want everybody to type in if they don't have any doubt. Please type in that you do not have any doubt from your end. Yeah. Okay. All right. So seems like you people have no doubt for this class. Okay then. Right. Thank you very much for attending the ME interaction class, and have a wonderful day, and God bless you. Okay. I'm exiting the meeting now. You may also do the same. Thank you.